And we are live. This is Freedom Friday Live. My name is Curt Mercadante. Thank you so much for joining us today. We started this last week. Of course, I've done lives before on a regular basis, but we've instituted now Freedom Friday Live every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm so pleased to join you. And thank you for letting me be a part of your day. As you join us, please let us know your name, your city, your state, your county, your continent, wherever you're joining us from. Let us know your comments, your agreements, your disagreements. Come in, say hi, let's interact. What I love about doing these lives is building that community from across the globe. And we have a lot to talk about today. So as you join us, jump in and say hi. Welcome to you joining us on Facebook. Welcome to you joining us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, wherever in the world you're joining us from, whatever platform. I am so grateful you are here. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about gratitude, because gratitude is so vital to starting off every single day. It is such a key foundation of whether or not you have an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset is one that looks at not only the negative side of your day, but wakes up and thinks about all the shitty things you have to do in a day. Oh my gosh, I got to go have that meeting with that asshole at work. Oh my gosh, it's just going to be a tough day. An abundance mindset wakes up and says, I am alive. Thank you for giving me this world. You're grateful for the people you're going to see today that you love. You're grateful for the things you're going to do. You're grateful because you know at your job, and we're going to talk about being engaged in your job today, you're going to be able to help people through your work. You start your day off with gratitude every single day. And that's how you cultivate an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset is so key, is so vital to leading a life of freedom and fulfillment. Because if you're trapped in scarcity, if you're trapped in anger, if you're trapped in anxiety, you will never truly be free. So I challenge you every morning when you wake up in the morning, write 25 things for which you are grateful every single day. And not just easy things like I'm grateful to be alive. That's important. Not just easy things like I'm grateful for the sunrise this morning. Find the hard things. On a past episode, I talked about how it took me so many years to find gratitude in my father's passing. I wasn't grateful that he passed. I wasn't grateful for the suffering he had. I was grateful for the lessons he gave me, and his passing spurred me to completely change my life to help others. I shut down my agency at peak revenue, gave up 7 figures to start helping people. That would not have happened if it wasn't for my father's passing. So you got to dig deep into those tough things in your life to find gratitude. That's how you cultivate an abundance mindset every day. So I see a number of people joining us across platforms. Again, if you're just joining us now, welcome. Jump in, leave us your name, your city, your state, your county, your continent, wherever in the world you are joining us from. And as I always do here, I'm going to give shout outs to some people who are joining us today. Let's see. I don't know if you're seeing me on LinkedIn this morning. Yeah, you are. We have a number of people here. Jump in. Hey, what's up, Zach? Happy Friday. It is Freedom Friday, and I'm going to ask you today, what are you grateful for this week? What's made this week awesome, and what will make today even more awesome? Talk about abundance today. So welcome. Now, we got a lot to get to today. We have a number of topics we want to talk about today. Now, today's episode, as you can see on the bottom of this screen, is brought to you by the Freedom Club. The Freedom Club is our members-only community. You get access to the Freedom Vault, which is my growing encyclopedia of all my training videos and content going back over the past few years. It includes my 8-week branding accelerator. Do it on your own. You got access to that. It includes my 8-week productivity superhero accelerator. You get access to that. Weekly 7-day challenges to help you grow mentally, physically, grow in that life of freedom and fulfillment, help build your business, build your relationships, build your self-care. It also includes our private Slack community. That's where the magic happens. Superheroes just like you, networking, growing together. All of that is just $19.99 a month. $19, less than $20 a month. You get access to all my training videos and content. So all of you out there who last week on my video said you only help people with a lot of money, $19, balls in your court. freedomclubnow.com. Go and register. We'll get you in today. Right now, I'm doing a live accelerator on 2020 vision, setting that vision for your life. That's going to be in there starting next week. You get access to all that, just $19.99. Go to freedomclubnow.com. We'll go see who else is joining us right now. Now, as I mentioned, we have a lot to talk about today. As you can see in the post, we're going to talk about a number of different things. Yes, thanks, Pete. And hello, Maria from Texas, 2 people from Texas. Now, Pete, we're going to talk about employee engagement today. That's what we're going to kick off with. Now, I'm going to see if I can share my screen with you here. I'm going to put a little something up on this screen to show you. I was playing around, glancing around on the internet, and I found this article in hrtechnologist.com. For those of you listening on the podcast, I'm showing a screenshot during this live of HR Technologist, and they share some interesting stats on employee engagement here as we begin 2020. The first is only 42% of U.S. employees look forward to coming to work. Only 42%. My friends, that is sad. That is a sad state of affairs. And yes, on my Freedom Mindset podcast, I would talk about the fact that those employees who every day wake up and dread going to work have a duty to themselves, to their families, to the people around them to define a clear vision, reverse engineer it, and say, where the hell do I want to go with my life? And yes, that may be changing your career, getting in a job that fulfills you. But right now, we're going to talk about the failure of those employers to create work environments that are fulfilling to your employees. Now, you may be one of those employers who only looks at the dollars and the cents. And yes, profit is important. But guess what? Fulfilled employees are engaged employees. Engaged employees are productive employees. And productive employees, guess what? Are profitable employees. You know why? Well, we talk about a team of superheroes being one in which you empower your individual team members to unleash their unique superpowers and align them with those of their teammates to achieve key outcomes that move everyone toward a shared purpose. Guess what? Those outcomes they're achieving are moving your company forward, your bottom line. That's where the profit comes in. If you are allowing an environment where only 42% of your employees look forward coming to work, it's hurting your bottom line. Your people make up your company. Your people make up your culture. Your people make up your brand. And if you ignore your people, if you allow your people to languish, if you only pay lip service to people fulfillment, to employee experience and employee engagement, then you are failing your company as well as your people. Now, let's look at this other stat that I'm putting on the screen right now. 85% of HR executives consider employee experience engagement as a valuable metric, but only 24% are prioritizing the quality of experience in the next couple years. This is according to a KPMG survey of 1,200 global HR executives. Again, I found this in HR Technologist magazine. Go to hrtechnologist.com and look these up. Now, I speak in front of a lot of human resources audiences, and one thing I tell them is my heart goes out to you because so many of you want to truly make a change, but you get blocked from above. You get blocked by managers who keep saying, let's do things the way they've always been done. Let's just look at the dollars and cents instead of considering our people. And as I've already said, unless you consider your people, you're not truly considering your profitability. I know there are HR executives who want to innovate, who want to make a change, who want to invest in employee experience, and you get blocked from above. Well, you know what? Last year, actually, this is 2 years ago at this point, I spoke at Disrupt HR, and I issued a challenge to all those HR professionals in attendance, and it was this. If you truly want to innovate, if you truly want to disrupt, if you truly want to create an environment where employee experience and engagement are high, are real, then you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people in your community, in your workplace, to speak up or ship out. Speak up or ship out. Because if your management keeps blocking you, if your management keeps saying, no, we're not going to do that, we're not going to invest in employee experience, we're not going to invest in engagement, and you as an HR person continue to sit there as a cog and do nothing and go along to get along, then you, my friends, are part of the problem. That may sound harsh, but that's my challenge to you. If your workplace will not innovate, get the hell out. Speak up, try to make a change, or get the hell out. because you know what? You're not going to be fulfilled. And if you just sit there, you are part of the problem. You are having a negative impact on those around you. Send a message by speaking up or shipping out. But when 85% of HR executives consider employee experience and engagement as a valuable metric, but only 24%, a small fraction of you, are prioritizing the quality of experience in the next couple years, and now we know that 42% of U.S. employees look forward to coming to work. Gallup finds that only 13 to 15% of employees globally are engaged. That is a failure of you, whoever you are. It's a failure of HR executives to speak up and ship out. It's a failure of management to truly invest in employee engagement. Now, I know a lot of them. There's some companies right here in my hometown of Charleston, South Carolina, that pay lip service. They send out press releases about their culture and their brand. And I know employees who have been in therapy because their culture and brand actually sucks. And we all know, everyone knows, they're not fooling themselves because they have a retention problem. Employees can't wait to get out. That doesn't make up for, or the press releases they do and the foosball tables and the tennis tables. The beanbag chairs don't make up for the fact that your culture actually sucks. And no amount of branding is going to change your culture. 85% of HR executives consider employee experience and engagement as a valuable metric, but only 24% are prioritizing the quality of experience. That, my friends, is sad. If you are one of those HR executives, speak up, ship out, or you are part of the problem. So right now I'm going to check again who's joining us here live. Again, as you join us live, come in, say hello, let us know your name, your town, your city, your state, your continent. Share your comments with us, your agreements. Rich Daniels, what's up, Curt? Rich from Florida. Yes, gratitude is the best attitude. Come in and say hello, everyone. Now, Pete Havel, who's joining us here, he knows about toxic work environments, and he knows about people turning a blind eye, and he knows about getting out and making a change. Go check out his book, The Arsonist in the Office. We featured it on the Team of Superheroes podcast in January. I want to thank you again for being here today, everyone. So let's talk about branding. I'd like to talk to you about something I call the law of the few. And the law of the few, when it comes to branding, may seem so counterintuitive to the bullshit you see on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn from the so-called branding experts and gurus. And I put branding experts and gurus in quotes. They're people who may have had a few viral videos and now they've slapped the term guru, coach, strategist, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it on them. And they think that building a sustainable brand is all about the likes and the views. And yes, I talk about this every week because it is so important. I talk to audiences about this, about the importance of tactics and tools coming later after you have that strategy, after you have your vision, after you know the impact you provide, after you have identified your clear customer persona, you know where they live, after you've defined your clear impact story that connects the dots between the need of that unique customer and the unique value you provide for that specific customer. Then and only then, and after we find out where your customer lives, do we talk about tools and tactics. And I talk about this ad nauseum. And at the end, people, because they've been so programmed to think about likes and views and just mass quantities of audience, they raise their hand and say, well, what about my logo? Should I do video content or written content? And I say, have you listened to a word I've said? If you are leading with tactics and tools, you will fail because that is not a sustainable brand. So what the hell is the law of the few? The law of the few goes to that unique customer persona and the unique value you provide. The law of the few says, yes, you want to get attention, but you want to get attention from the right people. The law of the few says, if I truly want to build an authority brand instead of a commodity brand, then I have to truly become an authority to the people that matter. I have to tell my impact story to the audiences that matter. And you know what that means? I may have an audience of 10 people in front of me, 9 of whom don't get my brand, don't like my brand, don't like my product, do not resonate with my impact story. And you got to be able to say, thank you for listening, the 9 of you. I'm here to serve that 10th person. Now, I know that may be hard for your ego to absorb. It may be counterintuitive to what you hear from so many people, which is you got to go get those likes and views. Think as I've talked about earlier, 2 years ago, I was one of the first crop of people on LinkedIn video. There were several videos I got that had 300, 400,000 views. And you know what? Nothing came from that. I didn't get any incoming client requests, not a single client. I've gotten 2 or 3 clients off videos that I've done in which I got only 400, 500 views. Why? Because I spoke to my unique customer. It resonated with my unique customer. That impact story is one in which, listen, you have a customer out there who has a unique itch on his or her back. It's a unique itch in the upper right quadrant of their back. Well, guess what? I have a back scratcher that is uniquely suited to people, and only the people who have a unique scratch in the upper right quadrant of their back. Guess what? I got to find those unique people. I don't care about all the people who have random scratches who aren't in need of my product. This is the difference between an authority brand and a commodity brand. This is about the law of the few, telling your story to audiences that matter. Not worrying about stroking your ego. I got to be on Instagram. Why do you got to be on Instagram? Because everyone's on Instagram. Right, but are my specific clients on Instagram? Oh, you got to do LinkedIn video and you got to get a lot of views. Why? Why? And are you speaking specifically to that unique customer persona? And it's so funny when I talk about speaking to your unique customer persona, some people get their panties in a bunch as if I'm talking about like unconstitutional racial profiling or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about marketing 101. I'm talking about finding those people, those unique people who have a need and filling that need. It's marketing 101. This isn't about not caring or not having empathy for people outside your customer persona. This is about building a brand that sells. And so many of you out there spend your time talking to people who will never buy a damn thing from you. I'm not saying don't have empathy for those people. I'm not saying don't care for those people. I'm not saying if they want to spend money on you, to take your money, if you take their money, if you feel that you can truly help them. What I'm talking about is the law of the few, and stop wasting your time and resources trying to cast a wide net in the hope that enough fish will jump into the net and a few of them may like your product and buy from you. If that is your strategy, that is a clear sign to me that you don't have faith and belief and confidence in the value your product provides. You haven't actually clearly defined the value your product defines. You haven't clearly defined your unique customer persona. And that, my friends, is building a house without a strong foundation. You're so worried about the paint and the windows and the roof, but you've ignored the strong foundation and your house will fall. That is not a sustainable brand. So the law of the few is about telling your stories to the audiences that matter. And in order to do that, you got to back way the hell up. You got to define who you are. Who is your company? What are your superpowers? What do you do best? What is your company vision, your personal brand vision that pairs your purpose with the impact you want to have? And that impact you have is the unique value you provide, and identifying that unique customer that has a need for that unique impact that you provide. And then defining where does that customer live, not just geographically, not just physically, but also online. And then charting the most efficient, simplest, straightest, shortest way to reach those customers. Then and only then do you get into the tools and the tactics and identify the best way to deliver that impact story to the audiences that matter. This, my friends, is the law of the few. This, my friends, is about building a sustainable brand. Because I've said before, I tried to deposit my likes and the views at the bank. Didn't work. They wouldn't accept it. All right. So I know we have a number of people joining us here across the social media sphere, if that's a term. So as you join us again, once again, I'm grateful for you joining us. We have people on LinkedIn joining us, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all across the board joining us today. Welcome. As you come in, jump in, say hello. Let us know your name, your town, your city, state, your continent, your country, your continent. If you're out in the middle of the ocean on a boat right now, let us know where you are, your latitude, your longitude, comments, questions, agreements, disagreements. We've talked about team of superheroes, employee engagement. We've talked about branding and the law of the few. So now I'd like to talk to you about something that is so key to building a freedom mindset. I want to talk to you about the importance of having that belief that everything you need to succeed, everything you need to achieve a life of freedom and fulfillment is right here. What do I mean by that? Well, we were each put on this earth. I'm a Christian. I believe God has put us on this earth. I believe the Holy Spirit touches me every day. I'm not going to go down the religion route, because whether you're Hindu, whether you're Buddhist, whatever you are, these ancient traditions, if you read the scriptures, Hindu scriptures, Buddhist scriptures and writings, the gospel, there are key and common principles communicated across the board. And that notion is we were all given everything we need to succeed here. When you look at physics and you look at the quantum field and you realize the first law of thermodynamics holds that we are all energy, and guess what? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And we were energy before we became matter, before we became these life forms. Everything we need to succeed is right here. I talk about superpowers a lot. We were all born with innate talents, and when you invest in those, you turn them into strength. But so many of us do not know what those talents are. And if you don't know what your talents are, you can't invest in them and turn them into strengths, and therefore you can't amplify them and turn them into superpowers. Those talent themes are our untapped superpowers. They are the weapons that were given to us. They are here. Are you using them? Are you unlocking them? Are you unleashing them to conjure those weapons and those tools you need to succeed? Everything we need to succeed is right here. But so many of us fall in that trap, the programming that happened early in our life. If you're 30 or 40 years of programming that would have you believe that your life is about external expectations. Your life is about being college and career ready. Your life is about getting into the best high school and the best college. And you follow that path and you get to 45 and you realize, I have not lived a life of freedom and fulfillment. I've lived a life someone else wants me to have. And some people get to that point and they break out of the matrix and they realize that everything they want is right there. If they would only give themselves, if you would only give yourself permission to clearly define that vision you want in your life. But guess what? For some people, merely defining, merely admitting that the life you're living is not fulfilling is tough. Why? Because it takes admitting that the life you've lived for 20, 30, 40 years is not the life you want to live. That's hard to take. Overcoming the programming of society, of our parents, of our bosses, whatever it is, after a certain period of time is tough. Giving yourself permission to do that is tough because many times when you admit something out loud, it becomes real. And when it becomes real, then you have to make a change. And so you block your thoughts, and your thoughts are only tied to memories of the past, which may be traumatic memories. And so your past continues to define your future instead of tearing down that wall of fear and allowing yourself to transport your mind into the future to say, this is the future I want. This is a future in which I am free and fulfilled, in which my relationships are excellent. My career is excellent and fulfilling. My self-care, my health, my fitness is excellent. It's right there for you. It starts with the decisions you make right now. Because as I've said before on this program, your thoughts equal feelings, which equal emotions, which equal actions, which equal results. And so if your thoughts are constantly about the trauma of the past, if your thoughts are constantly about the how and the reasons you can't get there, instead of actually allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to define the there that you want to get to, then the results on the back end are going to be garbage as well. If you continually block your thoughts about the future and it's only about the past, the results you get are the results you've always gotten. But if you allow your thoughts to be of the future you clearly want, if you give yourself permission to every day marinate in that future, define it, attach an emotion to that future, get excited, get joyful about where you want to go each day, then guess what? It's going to be easier to make decisions that move you on that timeline. Because those thoughts coming in are going to equal those feelings and emotions, which guess what? Trigger a chemical response in your body. Think about someone you're really attracted to. Certainly, those emotions trigger a chemical reaction, a physical reaction in your body. Think about something in the past that's very traumatic. You may feel that drop in the pit of your stomach. Guess what? That's the emotion causing a chemical reaction. Maybe it's cortisol coursing through your veins. That's why you get that physical reaction. So if you have shitty thoughts, that chemical reaction may block you, the fight or flight, from taking action to get the results you want. It's like coming up to a cliff and your body says, well, no, step back. Well, guess what? If all your thoughts are about the past, about shitty thoughts, your body's going to go into survival mode and will never allow you to make the decisions that move you toward the vision that will actually fulfill you. But if you allow yourself to clearly define the future you want and attach an emotion to it, create that joy, then your body will realize joy. Your body will realize energy and love and allow you to make decisions to move you toward that timeline. It is there for you. It's a seed that's put inside of you, and all you got to do is add some water, some sunlight. Everything you need to succeed is right here. Your untapped superpowers are there. If you would go and unleash them, invest in them. The vision you want is there. If you would allow yourself to define yourself by that vision instead of marinating in the trauma of the past, in the thoughts of the past. My friends, everything you need to succeed is right here in front of you. But as Robert Downey Jr. said on a recent interview with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience, 70% of life is just getting out of our own way. And so many of us, because the thoughts we have on a regular basis are tied to trauma of the past, get in our own way. And so we can't see that everything we need to succeed is right here. If we would allow ourselves to see our untapped superpowers, invest in those untapped superpowers, if we would allow ourselves to tear down the brick wall between us and our vision for the future and invest in that every single day. And once you do that, once you realize that you can start defining yourself to be the person you want, the vision you want, the relationships you want, instead of external expectations, instead of societal expectations, instead of the programming you had, scarcity programming from your parents, from your bosses, from your teachers, and you realize that your reality you can create, it is here for you if you would allow yourself to have thoughts that put you on the timeline to make decisions starting right now that move you toward that future. Everything you need to succeed is right here. So with that, I want to thank you. Whether you're joining us on YouTube Live, on LinkedIn Live, on Facebook Live, on Twitter Live, Periscope, or whether you're listening to this on one of my many podcasts here in the coming weeks, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to check in on some comments right now. Happy Friday, everyone. We're going to be back next Friday. Hello, Merrick from Poland. Regards, Bruce. Good morning, Bruce. Thank you so much for joining us again. If you haven't already done so today, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. I don't care if you're in the middle of work. I want you to find a pen and a pad of paper someplace quiet. And I want you to write down and clearly and think about and marinate in 25 things for which you are grateful today. And then do it again tomorrow. And then do it again Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and every day. Start your day with gratitude. It's an important part of cultivating an abundance mindset, which is vital to living a life of freedom and fulfillment. My friends, my name is Curt Mercadante. This is Freedom Friday Live. If you like what you have heard today, please do not be shy to share this with your friends, your family, your colleagues, anyone you think and know would benefit from a little dose of freedom and fulfillment each week. Each week, we're going to talk about employee engagement and building an engaged work culture. We're going to talk about branding and how to build a sustainable, no bullshit brand. And we are going to talk about freedom mindset. Have an awesome Friday. Have an awesome weekend in which you are present with yourself, your family, your friends, those around you. Not just physically present, but mentally present as well. Thank you so much.